I can almost guarantee you've heard the question, what would you tell your younger self? Now, this question poses in this current position that you're in, with the knowledge, the experiences, the emotions, the feelings, everything you've gone through, how would you relate that to what you didn't know back then? Welcome to today's discussion. We're talking about what would you tell your younger self, and that powerful question in relation to what you need to be doing next. If we look at that question, what would you tell your younger self? We're discussing what errors and profound significance happened in your life that you should onboard and continue to develop in order to reach your goal, in order to be at a better place, in order to be where you want to be. Right. You have gone through experiences, you have gone through events, and you have gone through things changing the trajectory of where you're going, of who you are, of what you believe, of what you see, or how you see things. And all of this accumulates into your next step. So if that's the case, what would you tell yourself is about ultimately guiding you upon what you should do next. Think about it. If this is so profound, if this is so truthful to who you are and what you believe in the situation, isn't it what you should carry out throughout your journey? For example, if you were to say, I wish I could tell myself to be more confident and be courageous in gaining what I want, that belief and that action is what you'll carry throughout your next steps. You'll be more confident, you'll be more courageous, and you'll step out there beyond your comfort zone, beyond what you think you can do. That sounds more impactful than just hoping and having an ideation around being this type of person, but actually putting that into fruition. One lovely thing about speaking to that younger self is that it's still you. I'd have to discuss and recognize how, yes, we are human beings, but because we're human beings, we grow. It doesn't mean we detach from this body and turn into something new, like a caterpillar into a butterfly, but we remain with this singular body, this human body, that develops, that grows, that matures, that ages, and eventually decays. That process essentially clarifies that you have this singular body, so utilize it. What's about it can you learn? What's with it can you use it to grow further, bigger, to draw back and understand more about self? And in relation to what would you say to your younger self, you are a part of that younger self. You may not be a child, you may not be taken care of, you may not be asking your mother, your father, your guardian, whoever it is, for that support, that guidance as much. But aspects of being childlike, aspects of desire and wanting something immediately, aspects of the ways to perform and conduct your actions furthermore, are things you need to be having in discussion with yourself. Telling yourself, I wish I was more confident back then. I wish I had more self-belief. I wish I didn't go down that route or that path. Having that conversation with yourself is exactly what you currently need in order to fulfill and continue to grow up. Another way to put it is, by talking to your younger self, you're also developing your future self. It starts as a baby, toddler to an infant, to a child, to a teenager, to a young adult, to an adult. By talking to that younger self back then, you're ultimately going to change the way the next phase of your life looks at itself. And that changes the next phase. If you're resonating with this, be sure to subscribe. Do you see it though? It's quite fascinating how that question is essentially a question for yourself now. What would you say to your younger self? What do you need to hear from yourself now? How has that thing been so significant in your life? And even furthermore, how can you implement it or start being that person now? So if you've seen that question before, have you asked yourself that question? What would you tell to your younger self? What would your younger self need to hear to nurture itself, to grow, to adapt, to learn, to be ready and to be guided upon the right actions? Answer it. Trust me, you'll find something so fascinating about the way you think, about what your younger self needs to heal from, to let go of, to attach to, and to grow. Because ultimately, your body is going to grow, your physical self is going to grow. But that doesn't mean mentally you're going to grow. That doesn't mean spiritually you're going to grow. It doesn't mean emotionally you're going to grow as well. You have to induce that growth in order for every aspect of your life to grow with it. I love to say our physical body, our mind, our emotions, and our spirit. How we interact and how we utilize that is the same way we interact and utilize the external things in our life. Our relationships, our friendships, our career, our business, any aspect of your life are interconnected with the growth or the disregard of who you are. Lastly, I'd love to know your answer, so leave a comment below. And that's where we're going to leave it today. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. I hope it's got you thinking. I hope it's got you adapting and growing in new areas of your mind that you didn't know before. If you did, I hope this was a beautiful reflection for you. My name is Jocko Kanchefu. Have a good day, morning, night, or evening for wherever you are in the world watching this. I'll see you next week for our next conversation.